Other than that, I did want to talk about some gaming news. Something pretty crazy coming out of China. And I know you want to get into this a little bit too. What do you think about the newest China bans? Did you hear about them?
Yeah, yeah, that there was the news like on I don't know, Wednesday. It was a Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Uh, yeah, it's crazy, man. That just I guess that shows you how good we have it here, right? Like, I mean, there's people that are kind of controlling them and telling them what to do and having them restricted to what 3 hours a week. I think they said, or during the week. I'm not sure exactly what they
Yeah, I
said.
think they were saying for
Um,
for minors, it's gonna be during the weekday they can only play like an hour a day, and then on the
yeah,
weekend 3 hours total for the weekend or something like that for
yeah,
for minors.
that's. I mean, I get it, but I don't know if that's the way to go about it. You give someone, you give them a little bit of freedom and tell them, try doing this, or at least put some advertisement out there to try to stop them to play video games. But I mean, why are we trying to stop people from playing video games? It's a hobby, just like anything else, right? Um, and there's so much money in China with video games. They're just kind of hurting your own economy, right? It feels like
Yeah.
Tencent. Tencent
Oh
is
yeah, they're
is
Chinese.
they're aren't
Yep.
they a Chinese company? I just that from that point of view, I don't see it. You're kind of hurting your economy, but
Yeah.
communism,
I know.
man. I don't want to get political, but
I know it.
communism.
It, it's crazy. It's crazy
That's
because they've already started some of these bans, right? So China was actually working with Tencent and other developers in their country to start doing like facial recognition and other things, so they can be able to pinpoint who has already spent a certain amount of time in front of a computer playing games. So they're already looking into that. So it's crazy because there's games out there that are really big in China that aren't as big anymore here. And one of the more prominent ones, and I know a lot of people don't play this anymore, but it's still worth mentioning, is PUBG. So if you look at the numbers for PUBG, of when their like peak times are and everything of who's playing it, it's China. It's a lot of people in China that are playing PUBG, and it's really funny because you can actually go online and look at the chart of when people are playing and when it drops off, and they have a hard curfew I think at 10 p.m. during the weekdays, and once it hits 10 p.m. China time, it just drops off. It's gone. Like there's only like a handful, couple thousand players playing PUBG, and so then we've actually seen I think Player Unknown. So for those that don't know Player Unknown, he's probably one of the major creators of battle royales, and he created PUBG. They came out and they said they're gonna start moving away from PUBG, and he's gonna start on this new initiative, right? That's what they were calling it. It's not necessarily a new game, maybe a new initiative. But their hand was forced because of China, because of this country that has really kind of changed the way that they look at gaming and how people are going to be able to game in the future. Would do you see a lot of other developers maybe doing this type of thing?
I mean, if they have a big you know draw from China,
Yeah,
possibly. I mean, I mean, if your money's being cut short from China, then you're kind of screwed, right? So, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be people. They're gonna have to test waters and see what happens. But like you said, if PUBG's numbers are completely dropping once China's done playing, they're gonna have to switch something. I mean, they're gonna have to just like you said, get rid of it and just kind of move on and try some initiative and see
yeah,
what works. I mean, I really don't know what the
I
answer is
know.
here. It's
It
kind of new waters.
I think PUBG their hand was forced because
Yeah,
China
yeah.
was
There's nothing you can do.
their majority uh,
I mean,
audience, right? That's where it was still big. Because here we have so many other battle royales that kind of took the scene,
yeah.
took it away from PUBG, and but in China it was still prominent, and now with this it's pretty crazy. I think it's gonna be crazy to see also at the esport level, because I mean when you look at all these esports like Dota, even like Overwatch League, which I followed, China was a big competitor, right? They were big in esports. Obviously, you always have Korea as the top
Yeah.
contenders. Korea, you have a lot of like the Oceania countries. You have Australia, and then they do really well. But China was always up there, right? I think they were always really good in when it came to esports, and limiting minors from playing these games, I think is really going to affect how good they are in esports moving forward, right? They're not going to get as much practice time as they would otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're basically cutting their time, and I don't want to even say half. It's like a
Yeah,
quarter. And I mean, I don't know. I just think it's a step back for maybe not just China, just in gaming in general, because things were going so good for gaming, and everyone was starting to see the positives of it. And then you see China come out of nowhere and just say it's. I mean, they're essentially saying it's a negative.
yeah,
It's a negative part of society. It's a negative part of life, which we as gamers don't believe
yeah,
that. We've been told that since we were kids that gaming is horrible for us and gaming is a waste of time, and it's just constant battle. But things are going so well for so long that now I guess it still shows you that there's still ways to go um, till society I guess really accepts gaming. So
yeah. So
uh,
yeah, there's definitely been that backlash there from a lot of the gamer community online. I already started seeing some streamers and people say that they have family in China that because of this, this was like the final straw for a lot of them. Because I mean,
yeah,
for myself, playing video games is a way for me to like release some stress, to like just relax at the end of the day. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in China that feel that way too. And then someone that would be like just as passionate about it, they might look at this and be like, okay, I'm out. I can't do this. So
yeah. You're causing trouble, not trouble for your own trouble for their own country, because I mean if they're not there wasting their time, not wasting their time, but if they're not there using their time on video games, maybe they're out doing drugs, they're out doing creating violence, they're out as long as you're inside playing video games, you're not outside doing something dumb. So
yeah,
you're creating another problem for yourself, I guess, if you're limiting them to not being home at night. What are they going to do for 2 hours before 10 to
exactly.
12? They're going to go find trouble or
Yeah,
something. So I don't know. That's just it's I don't like I said I don't want to get political, but that's just communism. And if
yeah,
anybody ever says in the United States that we're controlled and this and that, it just
yeah.
look at
Look
that.
over
That's
there.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy seeing it. So, but I hope we that developers aren't hurt as bad from it. But I mean, we already have one player unknown who's moving on from PUBG onto other games because of this. So,
Yeah, and especially if they were just holding on by that kind
yeah,
of sucks for them,
yeah,
And PUBG was probably I mean, PUBG and H1N1 were the big start of battle
oh yeah,
royale. So that's kind of sad to see for
yeah.
sure.
So we'll see where they go from there. We'll see if we hear any more information out of China. Obviously, this is gonna take a while to implement. Because I mean, doing anything with curfews to that extent, and fully implementing it through law, it's gonna take a while, maybe a couple years. But even then, it looks like
Yeah.
they are moving forward with it. So, uh, yeah, we'll see. We'll keep a close eye on it for sure.